James Plays Games.
That's me! Hey everybody, welcome back to James Plays Tony Hawk's Underground 2. It's time to explore the school, returning from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, the very beginning where it all began. Unless you count Apocalypse starring Bruce Willis, but you could. I won't judge you for it. I'll judge you a little bit for it. Apparently, we're now in South Africa as opposed to a California school. Yeah, you can definitely tell this is South Africa. I think the idea was, giving these old levels new... I use the term loosely, new locations, because this is the World Destruction Tour, so levels that were originally designed to be reminiscent of American places, just say it's in Japan, say it's in Africa, it's World Destruction Tour, let's go all around the world, instead of everything being located in California. So yeah, this level is from a whole console generation ago, compared to Thug 2. So they might have still had some of the old files to work with, but it was definitely a lot more effort to update this, give it some new textures, get it up and running in Thug 2, as opposed to the airport. I'm assuming. I could still be wrong about that, but... yeah, speaking of the airport, I did go back and check, and in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, you can grind the helicopter blades and send that chopper flying. And not only can you do that, but it counts as a gap. And that's one of the changes to these levels that I did not bring up last time. It felt like it made more sense to bring it up here, because it's going to be a lot more relevant. The gaps that were in the original versions of these levels, in their original incarnations, are not necessarily the same list of gaps that we're going to be finding here in these versions. Sometimes they're just going to be gaps that were completely removed because the game engine made them too difficult or impossible, which I definitely appreciate. If you watch my Thug 1 LP, where I went through those classic levels, I struggled quite a bit with a good handful of gaps in each level, because they just did not translate well to that game engine, and nobody bothered to do anything about that. Aside from that, we do have a whole bunch of new gaps in some levels that are implemented to accommodate all of the new mechanics that have been added since then. In this case, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, we didn't have manuals, we didn't have reverts, we didn't have spine transfers, we didn't have a lot of things. And I believe the list of gaps in those levels were quite short, because, they didn't really have everything figured out yet. They didn't have, the gap checklist. They didn't really consider what people could or would do with the game yet. So, in this level in particular, we have a handful of new gaps that are just accommodating to the new mechanics. And now I've talked for long enough, let's go ahead and start doing some gaps. Start off in the same place as you actually do in the original version of the level, and we're just going to grind the edge of this overhang, launch, land and grind on the planter for the gimme gap. And then we're going to do a lip trick on the kicker on top of this roof here. On our way back, we're going to grind one planter, jump, land, and a grind on the other planter for planter gap. Doesn't register immediately. You kind of have to ride this out to the end and get hit by this post. Going to come over here and just do a standing jump and grind, and then side jump to the table for planter to bench. And now it's time for something that's kind of frustrating. And we're just going to brute force this until we get it. But we have this quasi little quarter pipe here, and we have a planter, and we're going to launch ourselves sideways and land in a grind on the planter. Oh, and we got it first try. That is actually really good. appropriately called the strange transfer. What makes that so hard, though, is you are just really launching yourself sideways. You don't want a lot of verticality, especially because this overhang is in your way. And yeah, you're going from launching off a quarter pipe sideways into a grind. It can take quite a few tries. Moving on, let's go around the back of this gym. We've got some dumpsters, grind from one of these pieces of plywood, these 2x4s or whatever, to the other. And then we have this corner of dumpsters. Just grind and jump over the last one. Garbage ollie. Gonna climb on up to the top of the roof here real quick. You get enough air and get off your board, you can grab onto the edge, and now we're just gonna spine transfer back off for roof bomb. Head on our way, just keep going around, and now we want to do a wall ride around this corner for ride the corner. Now we're heading to the rooftop of the gym, and there's a good handful of gaps just located up here. We have what is, I guess, considered an air conditioner, and we want to... Hello. How are you? You want to see something cool? Okay. We are gonna just launch on up to the top of this air conditioner, land in a manual, and jump off. So we get M to the air. That's definitely a new gap, because we did not have manuals back then. And now we're going to try to do a pretty big air over this air conditioner. And if we can't do it, there is an alternate plan. Oh, nailed it. Even did a front flip. Over the air conditioner. That's a little tight. And you can do it with enough tries. Again, first try for me, because I was totally expecting to make it. But there are some other things you can do. Maybe we will talk about those another time. Have this little gap here, and you're just going to go up one ramp and come down the other for the mini gap. We got it. It counted. It's fine. And now we're going to do a little hip transfer for the air conditioner hip. Going to get on top of here, and we're going to jump to the awning here for roof to awning. Grind back up this board. And we are gonna just situate ourselves right here between this kicker and the air conditioner. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna launch off of the roof towards the other roof where we did the lip off the kicker. And we're going to do a hip transfer / acid drop onto the quarter pipe below. So we're gonna go at an angle, launch, acid drop, and there we go. Sick hip transfer. I waited a little bit to hopefully not clip too close to the edge. You're more likely to bail if you do that. A lot of these gaps, at least a lot of the new gaps, I can't say which ones are definitely returning or not, though. But there's a lot of gaps here that are just about luck. Try them 10, 20 times, and you may get it once. So when it comes to those, I'm getting them all first try, go me. I totally expected that, but sometimes we're just going to brute force things until we get it. Let's get back to some easier gaps. We got this rail going down the slope. Just grind it from end to end for the handicap rail. We're going back to the top. We had so much fun riding it down, we're going to do it 2 more times. Don't want too much speed here as we grind the brick and then transfer over, and that's why we didn't want too much speed, because we'll overshoot it. Let's try that again. A little bit slower. There we go. Perfect. So brick to metal, no metal to brick. A lot of these you would think there are counterparts, like planter to bench. There's no bench to planter. And brick to metal, no metal to brick. Finally, let's just go ahead and butt manual down the slope for the manual, the handicap slope. Here's a classic. The old kicker gap. Probably, if anybody's played the first game, anybody played this level in Tony Hawk 1, you've definitely gotten this. This is one of the most obvious gaps in the game. Now we have a big ramp to ramp over this opening here for the park gap. Now we're going to go up the quarter pipe and land in a grind on this rail for QP to metal. And now here's another one that I'm going to have to brute force. We're using this fun box here, and we're launching up and landing in a grind on the rail. And I overshot it that time. Take 2. There we go. Big kick to metal. So yeah, a lot of these, it's not like they are lined up. Like, it's not set up for you to do. You really have to go out of your way to connect to things, connect to objects, connect to sections of the level. And yeah, just takes a little bit of practice, a good few attempts. Grind the top of this wall for the playground rail. And now here's another one that we're going to have to brute force a little bit. There's a small transfer here. Ramp to ramp again. But it's really, really tight. I apparently didn't do it tight enough, so let's try it again. And still got nothing. Let's try one more time. And still nothing. So yeah, it's a very, very tight gap. There we are. Small transfer. Appropriately named. If you go too far onto the ramp, you're overshooting where that gap is. And it kind of stinks as a result. Now we're going to launch off of the fun box and land on the edge of that quarter pipe. Again, this is another brute force situation. And what I like to do, or attempt to do at least, is get off my board to try to direct myself a little bit better there to land on the edge. So fun box to rail, not too bad, only 2 tries for that. And then we use the fun box yet again, try to aim for the table over there. And I hit the table, but just not on any part that I could grind. Let's go again. And that time I overshot. Let's see, 3rd time the charm. Let's cross your fingers. There we are. Got off my board just to make sure I could get it. Over here we're going to grind this ledge, and we're going to jump the ditch and land in a grind over there for the rail-to-rail transfer. And now we have these little things. They're essentially, I guess they're called triangles. That's what they're labeled as in the gaps. But you use them as like little kickers. And there's a few gaps that we have to do with them. We're going to launch off one and land in a grind on the other. For T launch to T. And then we're going to pop off of this one and land on the wall over here. There we go, Kubrick. One of my favorite directors, Stanley Kubrick. He did that movie with Jack Nicklaus, The Sighting. Very scary movie. Now we're going to grind on this bad boy, and we're going to side jump and try to land on the other bad boy. We get bad boys 2. And again, this is just one where you kind of just got to get a feel for your speed and timing. As you see, I'm very, very good at it. It's probably the worst. There we go. Triangle to Triangle. Another good movie starring Tim Allen and Jonathan Taylor Thomas. I think that was Jonathan Taylor Thomas. I don't even get my own references. Now we need to just use these one last time, and we're going to launch into the ditch off of one of them. Cross your fingers, cross everything. It's really hard to get that distance. And I'm not trying to do front flips, it's just happening. I'm holding forward so that I can kind of level myself out, otherwise I will bail. And I guess sometimes I'm double tapping it and I don't mean to. Well, that was close. Alright, you know what? This is a good time to talk about one of those alternate methods. Those of you that watched my Thug 1 LP will know what I'm talking about here when I talk about the butt slap. It's short for button slapping, and it's essentially like a glitch exploitation that lets you do mid-air jumps. If you hold down the ollie button and you come off of something that sets you into the air, like that, while holding the ollie button, if you start just mashing the flip trick button and then let go of ollie, if I can do it good. I can't do it good. Hold on. It's not something I do regularly. And it doesn't want to cooperate. Hold on. Okay, why... There, you heard it there. You'll hear the double jump. You'll hear the ollie sound go off more than once. We're gonna try and do that, at least, here. There, see? Big air off of that. It's not the easiest thing to do, especially if you don't do it on the regular, but it's probably one of the easier exploits you can pull off, because it's just a matter of holding down one button and then pressing the other a bunch of times before letting go of that first button. So yeah, we got enough air off of that to get into the ditch. Now we're gonna go into the ditch and we're going to air over the bridge. We're gonna get back out and we're gonna do a manual over the bridge. And now we're gonna just do air over the bridge, kicking off of the edge of it. Come over here, and speaking of kicking off, we have a little kicker over here, and we're just gonna use that to launch from one side of the ditch to the other for ditch slap. Think that's everything? If not, we will find out in a little bit. Come on over here, and we're gonna grind this higher rail. Get a little more speed here. I'm going to slow things down as we approach this edge. There we are. So we got a two birds, one stone deal there. Huge rail is for grinding that ledge, and then you jump off that ledge and land in the grind on the edge of the pool here for whatever that gap was called. I was too busy landing it to pay attention. We've got a big old screen there that used to play music videos back in the day, but now it's just something out of They Live, I guess. But we're going to go ahead and do a lip trick on a diving board for Lip Diver. And now the all-important, the biggest gap in the game. Wall ride over Butterfinger, everybody. Well, real important gap to get. Gotta make sure your attention is drawn to that product placement somehow. For here, we've got the rail between these two pools, and we just want to grind, and then land in a grind on the other rail for rail to rail. I'm just gonna use this pool to launch over here. Get on top of this roof, where lots of people are having fun. And we're just gonna do an acid drop off the side for flat roof drop. We're gonna get back up here, and now we want to get up even higher, but we can't quite reach. There is another way to get up there, but the way that I tend to do it is I go for a little wall ride, and then I jump, get off my board, and grab the edge. Like so. And we pull ourselves up, and we're gonna have to get up here a couple of times. Hopefully no more than 2. But from up here, we're going to acid drop into this first pool. And then we're going to launch out and land in the other pool for Swim Team Gap. Do not acid drop into this pool from getting that air, because you will cut yourself short on getting the gap to register. I've done that by accident too many times, because I think, oh, I'll acid drop to just make sure I land in that pool. Nope, nope, don't do that. Get back up here, and now, just like before when we did the acid drop off the lower roof, we ask to drop off the higher roof. We get Drop the Giant Bomb. A shout out to my boy, Jeff Gertzman. Now we've got ourselves this slope that we've got a few gaps to do. First one is to grind this ledge all the way. Long ass rail. And now you might guess, and you would be correct, we have to do a manual. So let's just butt manual our way down. Oh, crud, I missed that turn there. And hit the kicker. Let's take two. There we go. Much better. So manual the big slope. Now if I've not forgotten anything, we should only have 2 gaps left to do. And we're going to grind this ledge right here. And we're going to side jump onto this rail right here. And you can see a guy over there. With the momentum that we're going to get, we're just going to continue along afterwards. So let's go for it. I'm going to slow things down. There's our side jump. Huge ledge to high rail. Go through that little area, land and grind on here, and after a second or so, we will get Hall Pass. So with all that done, let's look at our gap list, see if I forgot anything. Wouldn't be the first time, but we did. We remembered everything this time. Hooray! Awesome. Love it. There definitely, in my practices, to memorize everything, I would go through, check my list, and I would have missed one gap. So I'd go through again, and I would remember that gap, and I would check my list, and I would have missed another gap. Every frickin' time I practice this. So I feel good that I was able to finally get everything nailed correctly. With that done, now we will go ahead and check out the classic mode, get our goals done for this level. Now, if it wasn't apparent in our exploration of this level, School 1 is just one big circle. It just loops around. With the exception of the gym area, that's kind of an offshoot. But in classic mode, there's nothing over there. So we can ignore it completely and just focus on the circle. All the goals are out in the open, easy to see, easy to get, levels easy to navigate. This is just a ridiculously easy level, in my opinion. So we're going big right from the start here. We are going right into a combo, and hopefully we will be keeping this combo going for a little while here. Go into wiggle mode so we can change direction and aim for this rail. Side jump to get the S. And then double kick flip the kicker gap. Let's slow it down. Grind, wall ride, wally, and grind to get the A. Get our butt manual going again so we can get some speed and launch up onto this roof. We got the O in combo, which is fine with me. We were going to be getting that soon enough as we run it back. We would have gotten the O about there, and now we're getting the B. And now we're getting the M. You see, we are going in reverse. So there's combo. And that's probably good enough, right? Yeah, 2.2 million. That's, yeah, I'm fine with that. Just launch off of the footbridge there to get that K, and we've gotten everything done except for the E for this level with over a minute left. Boom. Alright, we are done. We only needed a minute. So, this might be another level where you could... I shouldn't say it. I shouldn't say it because then I'm going to try it. Oh, what the hell. This might be another level where you could get everything in a single run. Maybe. We'll see. But yeah. End that run. We got all our scores. We got skate. We got combo. And we did the double kick flip over the kicker gap. So real nice. We just have to get the fire alarms, the books, and the secret tape, and our stat points. You can see some books right over here on this ledge. Gonna grab those. Then we're gonna grind the ledge of this roof for another set of books. Sticker slap to change direction and get onto this roof, where we're gonna launch for that stat point. We got off our board to get a little extra distance to get onto this overhang and launch off for the secret tape. Grind that ledge for some more books, and now our first fire alarm is right here. Gonna launch off of this kicker to get that stat point, and then another wall ride over here for our next fire alarm. We're launching back up to this lower roof, where there's another stat point waiting for us, and you can see one on top of that diving board. We'll be getting that just as soon as we get this fire alarm right there. Climb up the ladder, and there we go. Here's another set of books right here on this edge. And then our final set of books is right in front of us here. Stop, turn around, there's a fire alarm. And now we just run up this ledge here, and we are gonna turn back around and we're gonna grind it and side jump and get a stat point, sticker slap to change direction, back on our way. And here is our final fire alarm, just right here next to the gym entrance. 30 seconds left to spare. So we essentially got everything in 2.5 minutes with me explaining along the way. Whew. We'll see. If there's more after this video, then you'll know that I attempted it. That's all I'll say. There we go. And with our 5 stat points, we're going to finish off run and go back to Switch. That's right, the crutch is back, baby. And you might ask yourself, why would I take all those points out of Switch just to start putting them back in after, like, another level? And to that I would say, shut your face. But, no, I think at this point, getting that run stat maxed out is more useful than having a maxed out Switch. But after the next level, we will have this maxed out again, and then we're pretty much good to go. We can just put things wherever we feel like, or don't. We can just leave them hanging. We'll see. But yeah, school, really, really easy, in my opinion. And with that, we are done with this branch, and next up, another level returning from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, the Downhill Jam. So I will see you guys for that one next time. Alright? Alright. Love ya. Mwah. Bye-bye.